Welcome everybody to RV Podcast 387.
And today, I've been waiting to do this for a long time. We're going to give you an exciting progress report about Starlink, the one best solution for mobile internet you have ever heard about. And it's here and available now.
Welcome, fellow travelers. It's time for another episode of the RV Podcast.
Answering your questions, sharing tips, suggesting great trips and off-the-beaten-path adventures, and always staying on top of the RV lifestyle news you need to know about with great interviews and inside industry information.
Here's your hosts, award-winning journalists Mike and Jennifer Wendland.
Hi everybody, I'm Mike Wendland, and this is my lifelong traveling companion, the bride of my youth, Jennifer. And
Am I the bride of your old age too?
yes, you
Okay.
are. You are that as well.
All right.
And we are coming to you from the sunshine state of Florida, where it is a beautiful day. It is clearly springtime down here, and we wish you were with us. This is an exciting one for us. As we said, we're going to give you an update on Starlink, this much anticipated internet solution for RVers. There's some big developments that we're going to share coming up in a little bit, and stay tuned for that. If the thumbnail for this on YouTube or the description on the internet caught your attention, that's all you want to hear, just scroll forward and you'll catch it in a minute. But this is a podcast, and we always want to start with a quick recap of what's going on in the RV lifestyle world. And the topic that has been in all of the news lately and will continue through the rest of this year has to do something that I know that you know about well, and that is continuing rising gas prices.
True. AAA released a survey last week that found $4 per gallon is a tipping point for most Americans, forcing them to make lifestyle changes because gas simply costs too much.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, you can't keep paying more and more for gas like that.
Not unless your income goes up.
No. So $4 is it's over $4 now is the national average, isn't it?
Right. The survey found 2/3 of Americans felt gas prices were too expensive just a few weeks ago at $3.53 per gallon. When gas costs more than $4 per gallon, 59% said the price would force them to make changes in their driving habits. And $5 a gallon, 75% said this was just way out of line.
Well, diesel is now over $5. That's the national average, and they're saying that regular gas will soon be $5 a gallon. I mean, there's no sign of this getting any better. I don't want to get into the politics of whose fault is it, because we all share one thing on this issue, that we're all going to have to pay more at the pump, and for RVers that is a lot more.
Right now, the current gas price across the country is $4.33, according to AAA.
That's, of course...
But that's not California.
And that's as we're recording this. But what is California now?
California is $5.73 per gallon.
Wow.
And the national average price of diesel is $5.14 a gallon.
Well, we talked about this a little bit last week, and we've received dozens and dozens of emails from many of you out there who have told us, now this is all anecdotal evidence, by the response we're getting, that you are curtailing, you're planning to cut back on the RV travel. The average RVer travels a little over 4,000 miles a year. And the folks in Elkhart, the RV capital of the world, have been watching this, and they have projected right now that it will cost at least 30% more at the pump for RVers this year than before. I think they're being a little optimistic because the prices are going up so fast.
Yeah, and the options are that you don't drive so far, that you just stay closer to home, and make sure when you go, see everything you want to go see.
We've had some people who have great big diesel pushers, Class A's, and they are projecting that it's going to cost them about $1 a mile. One guy said that he was going to a couple of the big rallies this year, and they've decided not to do that. Now, people aren't necessarily quitting RVing. The studies show that they're finding ways around it.
You got to scale back a little bit and be wise.
Scale back, be wise, and RV closer to home, which is something that we've been doing. and stay in one place a little bit longer.
Yeah, stay there longer.
For us, that's been kind of our goal for 2022, is to enjoy where we tend to go, you know, we flit around like a butterfly, you know, and have been for 10 years. And this year we said, well, we're going to try and stay in places longer, not knowing about the gas thing. But the other thing for us is, and this other big trend that we're looking at, is people buying their own RV property so they can have a guaranteed place to stay as long as they want. Some of them are looking for places a little closer to home. You know, many of us know we have a place in Tennessee. We are, by the way, going next week. We'll have a little bit more for you, and we'll have a video soon on it. We're checking out another place that is specializing in land property for RVers to buy and own. That'll be in Florida, and we'll tell you about that a little bit more next week when we know more, and we'll be visiting it and doing a video. But that's another big trend, and it's another way that people are trying to get around these high costs. So,
right. I mean, when you think of it, like you said, 4,000, I think it's 4,500 miles.
That's the average?
How far the average RVer travels every year.
Which isn't that much, really, when you stop and think about it. So, yes, it does cost more, but what else does it? What doesn't cost more? So, the big thing is that everybody wonders, well, are there going to be more campground cancellations and thus more openings? Maybe. Yeah. And is the RV boom over? I don't think so. Now, it's true in 2008 when the industry collapsed, much of that was tied to high fuel prices. But so much is different now in 2022 than it was in 2008.
Right. I mean, because of COVID, we've had our wings clipped. Most people are staying closer to home.
Yeah, people
not leaving the country.
Yep. And so I think that it's still going to be hard to find campsites, and I think a lot of people are still going to be RVing. And it's a great lifestyle. And, you know, where there's a will, there's a way, right?
That's right.
All right. We are going to talk about the internet and Starlink and this new development that just recently happened. But first, let's take a quick break and listen to this. Are you tired of overcrowded campgrounds, competing for reservations, paying high fees for sites? Well, ownership is an emerging trend in RVing that might be for you. Jennifer and I recently bought some property just west of Nashville from a great company in Tennessee that specializes in large acreage RV property. They're called Tennessee Land and Lakes. You can check them out at myrvland.com. The scenery and the setting is breathtaking, and you own it outright. It's not a timeshare. Your property, your way. You can garden, landscape, bring your pets, your friends. It's big acreage in a private setting. There's high-speed fiber optic internet connection along with utilities. A wonderful place to make your home base. No more calling around for reservations, and it's ready whenever you want to be there. Prices for big acreage start at only $79,900, plus you get us as your neighbors. There's financing available and some really friendly staff to work with. Visit myrvland.com. That is myrvland.com. You'll be glad you did.
When we're asked what's the most important modification we made to our RV, it's an easy answer. Battle-Born batteries. Battle-Born batteries are quality, safe, reliable lithium batteries that allow us to stay out there off the grid longer. Lithium batteries charge faster, they charge fuller, they're longer lasting, they're maintenance free, and Battle-Born batteries are protected by a 10-year guarantee. Now, in our case, they just dropped into the existing AGM batteries that we have, and they'll probably be the same on your rig too. Battle-Born battery experts can get those in your rig just like they did with ours. They can also match you up with the right cabling, the inverter, the charger, the solar controller, everything. Jennifer and I swear by our Battle-Born batteries. They allow us to boondock off the grid. Check them out. Go to rvlifestyle.com/lithium. rvlifestyle.com/lithium.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Time now for our topic of the week, and that topic has to do with satellite internet, and specifically Starlink. Now, I'm assuming that you have some background and you know about Elon Musk and SpaceX and the many thousands now, over 2,000 low Earth orbiting satellites that they have put up in what is called a constellation of satellites. Eventually, Musk hopes to have 2,000 of these satellites roaming all over the globe, connecting the entire world, anywhere in the world, to high speed, super high speed internet. But right now, about 2,000 or so are up there in orbit, and the system is operational. The system started in 2020, the fall of 2020, November 2020, and here we are not even a full 2 years into it, a year and a half or so, and RVers have been using it for some time. And we will put links to their channels and their videos and their reports in the show notes at rvlifestyle.com for this podcast. You can go and see them. There's some great stuff out there, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But the big development is something that Elon Musk just tweeted. Here is Musk's tweet, which was sent out on March 3rd. He says, "Mobile roaming enabled, so phased array antenna can maintain signal while on a moving vehicle." Let me give a shout out to several of the other RVers who have been really sharing their experience with Starlink and getting me is really excited about this. Tuck's Truck Mobile Roaming video. This is from Tuck's Truck Net. Other RVers have been using Starlink for months. Grand Adventure, Mark Guido has had some really great reports I urge you to look at. Enjoythejourney.life. Tom over there has documented lots of neat stuff, and he's worked with Joshua from Rooted Off Grid, the YouTube channel. Joshua has a terrific system and gives lots of valuable stuff that Tom over at Enjoy the Journey talked about, as well as Mike on Space. And Mike on Space actually put the satellite dish, which SpaceX and Starlink calls dishy. He set it up on the roof of his car, and he proved that it was now enabled, mobile roaming enabled on the Starlink system. He drove at 80 miles an hour and maintained great signal strength. So all that is great. A couple of things I need to tell you about satellites. This is the third time now that I have experienced. Yes, I'll have my system in 2 weeks. This is the third experiment I've really had with satellites. The first was a big, huge dish that required, it's like the Hughes satellite network, required pinpoint accuracy in finding the satellite. It was extremely sensitive to any kind of tree or interference between the horizon and the RV, which meant I couldn't boondock. I had to be in almost a field. It was slow, it was cumbersome to set up, but yeah, it did work. But it was just too much of a hassle. The equipment was too big. And then about 6-7 years ago, a friend of mine, Joe Ritano, who is an RV engineer, he's a high-tech guy, does a lot of stuff with artificial intelligence, but Joe's a good friend, and we experimented with what's called the Kymeta antenna. It was from a startup from Bill Gates. It was a phased mobile array. It looked like a pizza box that we put on our RV. And what it would do is it would match up with geosynchronous satellites that are 22,000 miles up in the sky. It too worked, but it was bulky, it lost signals a lot, and in the end we decided it just wasn't a feasible solution. But that technology and antenna is what SpaceX is now using in their phased arrays, their dishy antenna. And it is a phenomenal system. I mean, just a phenomenal system. The videos that I'm linking in the show notes from other YouTubers show how they are using it. And it's the same way when I get my system. I'll be getting it down here in Florida. And I will be putting a telescoping pole. I'll mount it on the ladder here at the back of my RV. And then I will have the dish mounted just over the ridge, over the roof line. I will set that up when I'm in a specific spot, and then we will have the system working, hopefully, really well. There are some mounts that you can get from SpaceX and Starlink, and I've ordered those. My friend Joe Ritano, the guy I just talked about, he just got his system, and I asked him to give us kind of a demo of what it's like and to show us how he is going to mount it on his RV. And I thought I would run that video and get you excited, because mobile RVing is now here and now possible with Starlink. Joe joins us right now. Hey, Joe, it is great to see you.
It's great to see you, Mike.
All right, let's go take a look at this. So many people have been saying you can't use Starlink in an RV, and we're going to show them that you certainly can.
Right. So the first thing I want to show is I'm going to turn my screen around here if I can, or just show it this way. So can you see that okay?
I can, yes.
All right. So basically what I'm going to do is just do a quick speed test. So I'm online. I set this up in just a few minutes, and you can see the antenna out there. And it has a little Wi-Fi modem. I've got my iPad set up to it. And we're getting a pretty decent download. We got 130, 140 megabits per second with about 106
Wow.
latency. In some of my previous tests, I was getting over 200, 250. I guess it depends on the time of day. And
for those who don't know, that's about, what, 10 times often this connection you'll get with a cell phone. So it's that much faster.
oh yeah,
if
for
not more.
sure. Especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you got one bar and you're not getting any
Yeah.
megabits download.
Yep. Where is the Starlink actually located? Because you are in your house, obviously, as we're talking now, but you're about ready to go outside and show us what's there.
Yeah, for sure. It's right out here. You just follow the 75-foot cable, and it's right out on my
Yeah.
lawn.
And there's the cable.
Yep.
Yep.
So it's totally portable, and I'll show you the box it came in a second. But that's all it is, and it auto orients for your where you're at. So currently, right now, I'm in Virginia, and so it's tracking a line of satellites that Starlink has set up, and it's in a low Earth orbiting satellite chain, and it's connecting to all of those. So I mean, it's pretty high speed.
Now, you are obviously in a home right now, but you talk about using it in your RV, because that's the thing I think so many of our people are saying, that you can't use it in an RV, and
So you
we're
see
here to
that
talk
corner
about
of
that.
the roof rack? I've got this sort of experimental roof rack up there. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
So I'm going to put it in that corner right there. I'm going to build a little bracket. And I ordered the pipe extender. So it's sort of a pipe adapter kit. And then I'm going to just set it up. When I go somewhere, I'm going to set it up on the corner and then just snake the 75-foot cable. It detaches from the antenna, so it makes it really easy to kind of snake that cable through one of my ceiling glands for solar. So I'll pop it out, set it up that way, and I'll take it down, because it's not really a mobile antenna, right? It's sort of a stationary antenna. You don't want that to sit on top of your roof, right? And I'm sure Starlink's going to come out with a mobile antenna. Elon Musk has been hinting at this for months now, and he's been setting up relationships with the aviation industry and automakers. So you're going to see a mobile SATCOM antenna come out of him pretty soon. But in the interim, I just want to start testing it out and trying it out. And I'll start doing some mobile tests here shortly after I get that pipe adapter kit. It should be on its way. But yeah, I mean, I think the performance is actually really good.
So I noticed that a number of RVers have set this up already. They seem to be able to use a similar system to what you had and what I have just ordered, which is the pole and a telescoping pole that you can hook up in a location. Explain to everybody the difference between cells and why, although this constellation is pretty robust right now, it's not everywhere. And how much can we make this work as we go from place to place in our RVs?
Yeah, and so, they've been hinting at mobile for a while now. Roam equals true now in the debugging information, which kind of means that you're going to get best effort if you travel without having to change your origin address like I have it set here, or your origin address.
Now is the time for RVers to order this system, would you say? Since you waited a long time for yours, right?
Yeah, it took almost 6 months, maybe 7 to get it. I ordered it last year and I just received it. So for my area, it took a while. Some other areas, maybe not. So it depends on where you live and the bandwidth they have available for the cluster of satellites that are screaming across the sky in a low Earth orbit. I I think the roam equals true and the debugging information is very telling. I think they're starting to test it out for best effort for those users that are on the go and they want to be location independent. So I think they're testing this out. You know, they're a pretty agile organization. They keep popping new stuff all the time. But I would imagine the mobile antenna is going to come next. So you'll have that same, remember when we did Chimeta with the flat antenna?
Yep.
I would imagine there's going to be some flat mobile antenna that RVers could buy. So if they want to start playing with it now and get on the service and test it out, yeah, by all means, do it. You're supporting Starlink.
Now, as I mentioned in the intro, as I described our system, I couldn't find it in my Michigan location. I couldn't find it at my Tennessee location, but my Florida location, it is available. And I ordered it last night, and it's shipping in 2 weeks, they say.
You're so lucky.
Yeah. So people can try this as they move along. And there are enough RVers out there now who have been demonstrating it, and as you just showed us on yours. So the bottom line, I guess, for our folks is that Starlink is here. It's available throughout most of the U.S.
And
not every single, and in Canada. I did see some early problems that the Canadian systems had trouble operating in the U.S., but I think they have sorted that out now. And enough RVers have been out there using this stuff, as you will soon be doing, for us to say, it's time to order your Starlink. We'll talk about the cost. Last question.
Yeah, it's $4.99.
What does it cost to get us a?
It's $4.99 for the antenna and kit, and then it's $99 a month right now. And that's not the premium service. That's just the regular service.
Regular service is incredibly fast, even so.
Right.
Have they rolled out the premium service yet? Is that available now?
Yeah, I didn't see any pricing for it, but you can get on and you can order it, but I haven't seen any pricing on it. And it is unlimited data. So there's that, right?
It's unlimited, unthrottled. It kind of puts the end to the cellular boosters that we used to need. And really many of the cellular systems that so many of us have relied on, we're here. Certainly within the next year, this is happening, and I'm hoping in your case and in mine, it's going to happen in the next few weeks. So
I think the only detriment right now is, a lot of RV parks are in shaded areas with lots of trees, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be in an open area somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the one thing.
I would imagine that trees are going to be the inhibiting factor for folks, and I'll do some tests. I think some RVers have done some tests like that already, but I'll definitely be doing it. So if it's a hard structure, you're not going to get any signal if you're in the line of sight of the satellites. Trees, that is going to inhibit it, but I don't know how much. So I'm gonna.
Well, now your antenna is out in the middle of your yard there, as you're testing it out for us now. You've got some trees that would be on the horizon, and you've got a house structure that would also be on the horizon as it looks around. So it is obviously getting those satellites by looking mostly straight up.
Yeah, and the antenna oriented itself away from the trees. You can see how it. So I've got the big pine right there, and then it bent a little bit to get to the, and it just automatically did that, and it will change. So, and then I've got my house right there, but you can tell the beam isn't, that's a tight beam right there.
Yeah. I remember on the original Hughes satellite thing that I originally had for a while, man, I had to point that as precisely, it took forever to point it. Well, yeah, and then when we had that Chimeta system, that we tested, that system was so sensitive to even the trees that I see behind you there, because it was looking more on the horizon.
We had some rain fade.
Yeah.
Yeah, the box is about 2 feet by...
Oh, show us the shipping box. Yeah, where is that
14, box? It's 24 inches by 14 by 10. So if you're going to store it, that's what I'm going to do. I'll put it in sleep mode or shut it down, and so the antenna will turn back down. You can fit it back in the box. So you'll need something about 2 feet wide, 10 inches tall, so it'll fit in your trunk area.
Yeah.
So
When do you suspect that we'll see a truly mobile system that we can mount on the roof and leave up and running all the time?
Well, if I had to bet on Musk, probably soon.
Soon being?
Less than 6 months.
Okay.
He's probably going to roll it out with the premium service, for all I know.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep watching.
Alrighty.
Time to order, folks. That's the thing. Joe Rotano has been our guest. Hey, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right. Good talking to you.
When we're on a road trip, we always seem to find a way to stop at a Camping World center. There are over 225 Camping World locations across the country, and there's always one close by when we need parts and accessories for our RV or just want to shop. In fact, we have so much fun with Camping World, and as we talk about it as one of our sponsors, they have agreed to offer a 10% discount if you use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you buy $99 or more in merchandise. You'll find everything you want, from outdoor furniture and appliances, the ones you see us use in our videos and that we talk about here in the podcast. RV extras that include everything from camping chairs to fire pits, electrical accessories, must-have gadgets. Check them all out. And again, don't forget, use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you visit campingworld.com.
All right, welcome back. And now it's time for your RV lifestyle questions of the week. And we've got two of them. I'll do the first one. It comes from Beverly Peacock. And Beverly says, do you think the second week of June is too early for camp tenting in the UP of Michigan, Michigan's Upper Peninsula?
No, I don't think it's too early.
I don't. It's usually just gorgeous weather in the UP. It's cool. Tends to get cool in the evenings, and the daytime temperatures are probably about what they are right now in Florida, in the 70s in June. Sometimes a little cooler. The one thing I would be a little worried about is mosquitoes. They tend to be the worst right around the end of June, early July.
I hate to predict anything these days with weather being different than what it normally is, but you have to be prepared for insects. Spring is usually insect time.
Yep, but usually the black flies, which is another problem in the Upper Peninsula, that's usually July, and late June is when the mosquitoes can get really bad. A lot of it depends on the wind, and they're not bad every day. But to your question, yep, you're going to be great in early June, so go from there. All right. Oh, and we should tell you, we have a really great 7-day adventure guide to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Summer's the best time to visit, as is early fall. You can get that. We'll put a link at rvlifestyle.com so you can check that all out. And we have lots of travel guides for all over the country. But if you're thinking about the UP, get ours. We'll show you where to go, save you lots of time, and you'll love the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Join us in winter, our winter camp out.
Yeah, we camp in the winter too.
You'll love it. This is from Julian from Pennsylvania, and says how he enjoys our podcasts and videos and everything, and he appreciates all the hard work. But he wanted to know, his question is, what do you do with your house when you're in your RV, maybe for weeks or months at a time? And they're very, very lucky. They have a neighbor who'll watch their house for short periods, but they don't want to take advantage of their neighbors. And they also keep the dog for them when they go on a bike trip. So they have wonderful neighbors. And yes, very good neighbors, dear friends. Do you hire a house sitter to stay in your house while you're gone, especially in cold weather? Worried about the fear of something breaking in the winter. Well, let me just say that we have let people live in our house, people that we know well. They want to live there. That's great.
Yeah, stay there really a whole summer, 5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 weeks. We have good neighbors. We
keep track of our house regularly. Yeah.
We have an excellent security system, and it lets us know if anything isn't quite right. We have a good friend who's not that far away who's willing to come and check our house if we know a package has been delivered or something.
Because my security system says, hey, somebody's on your porch, and there's a picture of the FedEx guy dropping a package, and oh man, so my friend will go and pick it up.
And we also have a friend who we could hire her to come and flush the toilets and walk through the house and make sure everything's working properly. We have a boiler for our heat, so we can't turn off our water completely when we go out of town.
And in the wintertime, we've worried about that because sometimes it gets really cold, and so we have put antifreeze. It's a boiler system, you know, baseboard heat, so we put in antifreeze in that, and that keeps that from freezing in the winter because we are gone a lot in the winter as well.
Yeah, so where there's a will, there is a way.
Yep, and then your mail, if you're curious about what you do with mail, do as much as you can online. Pay all your bills online. Manage as much of your life online as you can. And we have a whole thing about mail forwarding services. We just posted in the last week on the RV Lifestyle blog. We'll put a link in the show notes, but check that out. It gives you several different options on how to manage your mail when you're gone away from your sticks and bricks house. But it's very doable. We've been doing it for 10 years now, starting our 11th year this month. So.
Yeah, like I saw our neighbor directly across the street from us, and I said, hey, we're going to be gone X amount of time, just so you know.
Yep, always good. Let your neighbors know that you. All right, those are the questions. We'd love to get questions from you. You can reach us at Mike and Jen at rvlifestyle.com, and we'll do our best to answer them. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the podcast. New podcast episodes all the time, released every Wednesday. And be sure and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Till next time.
Happy trails.